Recently, the government announced a 14% increase in minimum wage. This means that you're supposed to increase the salary of your domestic worker to 9,580 shillings if you live in Nairobi plus NHIF. Basically, the figure comes to about 10,000 shillings. Well, that said, on the All Woman Show this week, I tell you the story of a domestic worker who's traveled the world and is living a life most domestic workers would consider a dream. She has traveled the world, seen more capital cities than most, if not all, people who do the kind of job she does. Levina Diambo is what is now called a modern-day nanny. To her family, she's christened Nana, meaning something beautiful. This 26-year-old lady from Rongo, Migori County is living her dream. She loves what she does and would not change it for anything.
Some women would really talk so awful about the nannies and everything, and nannies are not really appreciated in the society. So that's why maybe people really recognize me on social media or something. Yeah, and I love it. I love what I do. I love it so much. When I joined my family, actually I found the grandma. The grandma was around, and she wasn't even speaking, she doesn't speak English. So she was just taking me around. But I think she liked me, the grandma liked me, and that was the key too, because if she didn't like me, probably my boss wouldn't like me so.
Levina lives in Sichuan province in China's Chengdu city. After failing to secure a place at the university by just a few points, she searched for a job online and found one.
One day I got a text from this lady, and she's Chinese, and she was telling me if I want to work for her, and she has 2 kids. And I wasn't sure, you know, in Kenya when you find some messages on your phone, you're like, oh, this is a con. So I rushed to my email, and I checked the mails, and I got her mail too. So I responded and said, okay, yes, I'm interested.
How old were you?
I was, right now I'm 26, I was 23, I guess. Yeah, I was 23. So I emailed her and said yes, and she called me later. And we talked, and she was quite impressive. She would laugh. She would talk too much, and I was like, oh, she's a nice person. Yeah, and she was telling me more about China. And she asked me more about Africa. She had some interest in Africa too. And we quickly processed everything, and that's how I went.
Levina's high-flying job is what many in Kenya call house girl, but she has more privileges than many domestic workers in the country, like traveling around the world with her employers. But there are more familiar parts of her job. Apart from ensuring that the house is spotlessly clean and meals are cooked on time, she takes care of the children.
There are 2 boys and 1 girl. The oldest is going to be 7 years soon. The second one is going to be, the second one is 3 years, and the third one has just turned 1 year. She's 13 months now. Yeah, the girl, the princess.
Her typical day starts like any other nanny's day.
When I wake up, I go straight to the kitchen to prepare breakfast for my family. And my family will get downstairs around maybe 7:30 latest, and we have breakfast together. And then by that time, when I'm done with preparing breakfast, I pack like snacks for the kids, for the boys, and then the boys are off to school. Okay, they will always go with the mom. The mom will drive them off while going to work, and I'm left behind with the girls. So like I do the small stuff like putting clothes in the laundry machine, getting the dishes from the dishwasher and such, and now spend most of the time playing with the baby. And by lunchtime, lunch should be ready on time, and I'll put the little girl in the car seat, and we go to drop lunch to the daycare for the second boy. The first boy stays in. I make the lunch myself. Yeah, I'll prepare the lunch and put the little girl in the car, put the packed lunch in the car. I take the lunch to school. We drop the lunch to the daycare for the second boy, because the oldest boy has his lunch in school. Yeah, he takes his lunch in school. So we drop the lunch to the daycare, come back home, and my boss will be back at home for lunch. So we like have the lunch together with the baby and everyone, and she goes back to work because her working place is just close to home. So after that, then again, just spend most of the time with the baby. When it's 3, the oldest boy will come home, and he has so many activities like golf, tennis, taekwondo, such kind of things. So I have to like drop him to these activities.
Levina understands the language. However, she plans on learning the language soon. That isn't the only thing that she had to get used to when she landed in China.
My first culture shock was the food. You know, you go to a restaurant and you see the snakes crawling. You go to a supermarket and you see all these frogs laying on each other and they're still alive. And I find it so gross because the Chinese, they will come and say, I want that one, a very huge frog, a live one. So the first culture shock was food. And actually, I didn't want to eat any seafood at that time. I was so scared. I was so scared of meat. But again, you'll find some vegetable and it has some meat inside.
No idea what that
Yeah, and you have no idea. I once ate a frog and I really cried.
Unlike many households in the country where house girls or nannies are not allowed to mingle freely with the family members of the home, Levina says that her family is different. No one is allowed to eat alone. They do not discriminate against her at all.
When I joined them, the first thing my boss told me, we were in the kitchen and she came and told me, you know what? Respect is a two-way thing. Like, you have to respect us and we have to respect you. Respect is earned. And I respect them so much and they respect me so much, and they've never mistreated me in any way. I've never felt mistreated in any way.
And what is her take on incidents of abuse by house helps?
I saw that Ugandan nanny who was really mistreating a child. It's very heartbreaking. It's really, really heartbreaking. But again, these girls, most of them, they have their own frustrations, you know. My only way of disciplining him when he messes up is I'll just take his iPad away. I'll just grab it and take it away, and he has to do what he's supposed to do, what is right. Actually, what he's supposed to do is eat his lunch on time, like things like that. If he has homework, do his homework first. If he has played with the toys, clean up the toys first, and then he will have time to play. And again, he has the timing, like if he's supposed to play the iPad for only 20 minutes, he's not supposed to exceed it, because I'll just take it away, or maybe if he exceeds it, then tomorrow there's no iPad for him.
Levina has been to 6 countries so far, and when she's not traveling with her family, she spends her free time baking cakes for the family or friends. She also loves to keep fit. Her employers shower her with various gifts, the most recent one being a car.
They provide me with everything. Actually, I can stay for a whole month without spending my money. For a whole month. Yeah, I got a car from my boss. It was a gift from my boss. It's like every year they will give me something crazy. So they bought another car.
Since she's miles and miles away from home and gets lonely, social media fills part of that gap for her. Commenting about her lifestyle, though, hasn't impressed everyone.
Oh, I laugh about that a lot. When I see such, I will just laugh and shake my head. Because again, somebody who will just say, but I find those people so uncultured. My family, they're so advanced, they're so educated, they're so rich, but they still treat me like I'm a professional nanny to them. I take good care of their kids. And at the end of the day, I laugh all the way to the bank.
The 26-year-old, who is currently on her holiday for a month, gets paid leave and other allowances.
They pay for my medical cover, and we go actually to the same hospital, the best hospitals. So I have the medical cover, and I go for my leave every year, every summer. Yeah, and I also have a choice of either going in December if I want to, The only difference is that in December I will not be paid. Yeah, I will not be paid for the duration that I'm going for the holiday, because it's a holiday by choice. But again, sometimes I will not come to Kenya. I will choose to travel with them, which is even better because I will still be paid and I will have seen the world.
Just like many people who work abroad, there are several responsibilities that need taking care of.
My mom, she was a housewife when my dad died, and so she has never had that stable income, and I'm the firstborn. So, but the only thing I would say my dad left us with was a piece of land where we would call home, but we didn't actually have a nice house or something. But now, since I earn good money and I'm stable in life, I can support myself, I took an initiative to build a house for my family. And I've also taken an initiative to help educate my siblings. So if anybody needs a fee, I'm here to give the money. All I have to do is ask them how much it is, and I'll pay.
At the moment, this is not the end of the road for this young nanny who is having the time of her life doing what she loves. She one day hopes to have her own family and own a restaurant. But until then, Levina Adhiambo is happy in China.